Hello, this is a review for What Katie Did's Vamp Corset. Here's the front, the side, the back, and the other side. This is an 18-inch corset. The center front is 11¼ inches long. The underbust to lap measurement is 9¼ inches. The side is 10¼ and the center back is 12 inches. This is a 5-panel pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Unless you count the difference on the inside here where you can see that the front and back are separate panels, then you might count it as more panels. Also, there are 2 hip gores on each side, so that would actually make it a 7-panel pattern. There are at least 2 layers in this corset. There's a fashion layer that is polyester satin, and I got the black satin. The lining is a black cotton twill. And the busk and grommet panels are stiffened with some kind of interfacing. I can feel a 1-inch wide hidden waist tape that starts from the front busk here. You can actually see a little bit of the outline there. And I feel it all the way up to the grommet panel in the back. The busk itself is 10 inches long and it is about 3¼ inches wide. It is quite sturdy, a lot more sturdy than regular standard busks, and it does have a support bone on the side. I find that the busk being so stiff does make it harder for me to lace tighter. I believe it has to do with the patterning. As I pull the corset laces tighter, I feel the front resisting more, and it does bow in a little bit more now than when I originally got the corset, as it's more broken into my body. There is a stiffened attached Modesty placket on the side here. The corset is both double and single boned on the sides, and they are external channels. There are 18 total bones in this corset, 12 are spiral steel and 6 are flat. The hip gores on the side here are added to support a greater hip to waist ratio. The website says 10 inches or greater, and there are 6 garter tabs total, 3 on each side. The binding is made of matching black satin and it is sewn very neatly. There are 22 total silver grommets on the back. They are set very well and there are no splits that I can see. The laces are a thick black flat nylon with a very slight stretch. They are a little too thick for my taste. I am more used to laces that are a flat nylon as well, but they're probably half this amount of width, and this makes a lot more friction to lace up, so I find it more difficult to use these, and either changing them out with another lace or even a ribbon would probably be more suitable if you're having too much trouble with these laces. The grommet panel also, I find in all of the What Katie Did corsets so far, does tend to bow, or it needs to bow and curve into your back more as you try to lace tighter, and I think that has to do with the patterning. But if you have a very flat back, this might not feel very comfortable for you. The Modesty panel is very wide. It is 7¼ inches wide with about 4 inches of usable space. The Modesty panel is not stiffened, but is quite thick as it has both the satin side and the cotton side together, being so thick that it is harder to lace up because it's harder to smush this under the laces and under the other side as I'm tightening the corset. The Modesty panel is sewn into the corset, so it cannot be removed without actually cutting it out. As an owner of several What Katie Did corsets, I have to say they are all very well made, but they don't seem to fit my body type very well, honestly. I still have the May corset and the baby corset to review so far. I have reviewed a couple of Morticia corsets, and none of them seem to really fit my body type. My torso seems to be more muscular. It doesn't have a lot of squish, especially around my rib cage. There's very little, let's say, flesh between my skin and the bones underneath. So I bought the 18-inch corset thinking that the 20-inch would close too easily on my body, especially as this Vamp corset is very curvy. And I naturally do have hips that are much wider than the rest of my body, so I thought this would work for me. Also, the Vamp is 2 inches shorter than the Morticia, and the Morticia I felt was way too long for my torso, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to try out the Vamp. Anyway, as I tighten the corset as much as possible when I first put it on, I still have extra room in the top and the bottom, even with a wide gap in the back. For this video, I finally laced the corset tight enough after a couple hours of wearing it to not have it loose for the video. Once it was tight enough to not flare at the sides, it felt like it was way too tight on me. I felt like it was being squeezed like a sausage. So normally I wear it looser, but it still is very tight, and it's hard to lace up any tighter than that, yet I will still have flaring at the bottom and the top, even though this is such a small corset. So it's like, why can't I make it smaller? And I know I have more squish in the middle because I have other 18-inch corsets, and I can lace tighter than this one. So what I'm saying is the patterning isn't working for me. It's the sides too. It's the sides that will flare out, not the front or the back. So it has more of a flat front and back here. Unless you lace it really tight, then it starts to flare out more here. But the flare on the sides is way too dramatic for me. I don't have enough skin or fluff to squish into and fill out those spaces. So even when I'm wearing it tight but not extra tight, I can feel comfortable 1 minute and then I can have tingling nerves the next minute. So this corset just doesn't suit my body. I have, however, seen the Vamp corset work very well on other body types in the Tight Lacing Society on Facebook. And if you own the Vamp corset, you should tell me about your experience with it in the comments below. I'm not trying to discourage people from buying what Kitty did whatsoever. The corsets are very well made, especially for off-the-rack corsets. I'm just saying it's not working for my body. Very lovely silhouette though. Alright, thank you for watching.